Good evening. Welcome to the council meeting of August 19th. Anyone in the audience need amplifying headphones, please raise your hand and we'll bring those to you. Not seeing any, let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, can you do a roll call, please?
Bill. Councilmember Black.
Here.
Councilmember Jordan. Here. Councilmember Gilmore.
Here.
Mayor Dancer.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilmember Sapp.
Here.
And Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Thank you, Donna. Does the council have any late changes to the agenda? City manager? All right. The council have any board reports to share? Right. Is there a motion to approve our consent agenda as published?
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda as published.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. The council invites the public to make comments on matters of city business. Comments shall be made to the entire council, not individual council members. Please refrain from any personal or disrespectful remarks that create a disruption to the meeting. Unreasonable disruptive conduct continue to be asked to leave the meeting. Donna, who has that public comment?
Yes, we should, Mr. Mayor. Our first speaker is Andy Havens.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for your dedicated service and for allowing me to speak. My name is Annie Havens, and I serve with the Youth Connection. I work primarily in Belfair while also supporting our Shawnee team. Our mission is simple but urgent: to be a part of the solution to youth homelessness by removing barriers that keep our young people from stability. Nationally, 1 in 10 young adults and 1 in 30 youth experience some form of homelessness. These numbers are staggering, and they reflect that what we see every day here at home. This month, we opened our first youth transitional housing home with 3 units. Our remodel project will bring 12 transitional housing units, providing local safe spaces for youth without family support or stable housing within our life skills, build stability, and grow into contributing members of our community. Alongside this project, we are opening a coffee cafe and expanding our drop-in center with new programs. In July alone, our centers welcomed 463 visitors across Shelton and Belfair. We have 6 young people, served 645 hot lunches, handing out 45 food bags, and conducted outreach to homeless individuals throughout Mason County. Our outcomes show a real impact. In 2024, 86% of our participants successfully exited into permanent housing, a number that continues to rise in 2025. To complete our housing project, we are applying for additional funding. A letter of support from the city is requested in that process. We deeply value your partnership. Youth Connection is committed to being a part of the solution. With your continued support, we can bring this critical resource across the finish line and ensure our youth have a safe path forward. Thank you for your time and for standing with us in this work.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dean Jewett.
Good afternoon. We got a state of Shelton address here. It's Clint Eastwood, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Great movie. You should watch it. There's on the good side here, there was a squatter up by the Shelton Outfitters. I called it in. I know that other city council people have called it in. It's gone. So code enforcement did what they needed to do. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. Brewer Park, we got a lot of stuff out of Brewer Park. We'll touch on that when we come into the bad. I've noticed some cleanup that's been going on, some sidewalks, some of the cement islands, things like that. So there's some effort being put in there. Obviously much appreciated. You know, we don't have curbs that are painted, we've got sidewalks that are in upheaval. We've got grass that's growing up and around. I mean, I'm not sure if we need to have a weed eater brigade and do some volunteering and coming to town. I'd definitely be up for that. I bet Eric would too. Brewer Park, we get it all cleaned out and then we kind of let it go backwards a bit. Then we clean it out and we let it go backwards. Let's stick on it, stay on it, and make sure that we're doing the same all over town. There's ordinances that we pass for no street camping. There's a car that's been parked down there by the watchtower right now, that's been there for almost a week. Mark and Henrietta got their Dodge Ram van that floats all over the town. There's the Jamboree Class B RV. If I know those, you guys know those, code enforcement knows those. Let's do something about it and enforce the ordinances that are on the books. When people get tossed out of Brewer Park, they end up over in Post Office Park. It's a whack-a-mole thing. Let's get those people towards services and get them out of the downtown area that it's a negative impact in. I just had to deal for about a half hour last night of a guy in our dumpster. And I'm not, when I say guy in our dumpster, I mean literally in the dumpster for a half hour. So, and then when he left, the police officer showed up, he left, but he left a big mess as well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Clan Jacobs.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Clan Jacobs. I live here about 38 years. I'm retired from 3 different jobs. I'm 72 years of age. I do lots of training. Training is my specialty. Right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff for the Pentagon and other private groups and stuff like that. I live here, and the time I live here, I've never had any problems. I donate a lot of my skills and my techniques. I'm at Brother Magazine here. I've been in the Army College several years. European kickboxing champion, placed third in the World Taekwondo Kickboxing Championship. And lots of different type of training to British, Italian, and French special forces, etc. An individual moving next to me recently, a couple years ago, 5-6 years ago, not but trouble. I talked to Mr. Ziegler, he did respond, but then the individual got even worse when she attempted to spit to me and I had to warn her. I'm not going to allow that. I called Mr. Onasco. He said he's going to call me back. He said he has to speak to the chief of the police. I don't know the process. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. Although I have a master's degree in administration of criminal justice. But I know that lady on 6/3 of this year, just because I'm cleaning up the weeds right by the mailbox, she called the police line, sent them on her property. Crystal across from the street, came, he's not on your property. She got upset because the police didn't come out due to the fact that they had a lot of situation going on. So I waited until 9 o'clock when they came out, because she jumped in my car. I didn't see her coming down towards me. She nearly hit me intentionally. If I get up out of that chip clean it, that car would hit me. Have I seen the car coming towards me? I think probably make a split second. And we know what it turned out to be. We have a serious incident in Shelton. And I'm not running, I'm not going anyplace. I could justify my action if it's reasonable or necessarily. But this is what escalated. I've asked for somebody to come out. Nobody come out to tell me about these codes. Mr. Ziegler, I mean him talking, I'm nothing against him. I think he's a nice guy. And he says he's going to talk to Sean. I never heard anything from Sean. I never heard anything from the codes individual. If I'm doing something wrong, I need to know what I'm doing wrong. Again, I don't want to have problems. I live here for years. I donate a lot of my time with the wrestling team when coach was living and the recent one passed away, because I used to wrestle, yes. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
That is all for in-person, Mayor. We have one person on Zoom, and that is Colleen Carmichael.
Good evening, Mayor
Good evening,
Ernesto,
Mayor Ernesto.
Deputy Mayor Sherman, and fellow council members. I'm Colleen Carmichael, Executive Director of New Horizon Communities. What is it about our society and the need to get the homeless out of our sight? As soon as they set up a camp, we call to have them removed. We must destroy any evidence of their existence. We keep removing them because we know that most people will go along with our justification that homeless people are immoral, unsafe, dirty, and undeserving of our help because, after all, they chose that life. How did they choose? The chronically homeless person was forced to endure unspeakable abuse at the hands of someone they trusted and loved and chose to numb the horror they live with every day. The newly homeless person chose to have a car for their job instead of having a home for their family because they couldn't afford both. The domestic violence victim chose to escape brutality with nothing but the clothes on their back because they might die if they stay another day. The minor chose to come out only to have their family reject them. Those are the people who have made bad choices. There's only one problem with this logic. It hides the truth. The truth is, seeing homeless people is a daily reminder of our failure to care about fellow human beings. Homeless people are not the guilty ones. The community that ignores them is. One belief that makes our country great is all men are equal. Our Declaration of Independence states everybody deserves the right to life and pursuit of happiness. Our Pledge of Allegiance says liberty and justice for all. Our national anthem says we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. Our Statue of Liberty welcomes the tired, the poor who yearn to be free, and the homeless who faced many storms to seek a better life. We have come before city and county officials time and again with facts, data, stories, and evidence showing housing and services work. We have explained the detrimental costs, both economic and social, of leaving people on the streets. We have presented to almost every social club, church, and agency in this county. Many citizens have chosen to stay silent even though they know what's happening is wrong. Well, I refuse to be silent. I believe in the goodness of humanity. I believe that my father, brother, uncles, and all veterans did not risk their lives in vain. We may walk different faith paths, but I beg you to act on the universal message of love, the commandment to honor your neighbor as yourself, and the call to light the lamp others can see. We ask you to stand for right versus wrong and do something to help people on the streets. You may say one person can't make a difference. Tell that to Anne Frank, Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, Chief Joseph, Harvey Milk, Susan B. Anthony, and Nelson Mandela. So what will it be? Will you continue to make bad choices, or will you choose to help those less fortunate than you? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Right, we're on to our presentations. Our first presentation is a historical society. It's Director Liz Allwall has museum second quarter LTAP report. That's cool.
Hello, thank you for taking the time to see. What happened last quarter? So April and June. Our first slide is the is croquet and good support on Oscar Hall's property. This was 1901. The fun part of this, I know I said this before, is that I get to find these fun pictures for my reports. So next slide, please. So for the second quarter, we had a total of 739 visitors from 14 counties in Washington State, from 13 states across the country, and from Iceland and from Australia. So our international count is down a bit, but you know that's to be expected for a thing. We responded through email, Facebook, to 51 people, almost as many phone calls as we got, which you know we don't. The 51 doesn't include, you know, people trying to help me with my Google page, but and then we were also close for feedback installation, which is fabulous. Thank you again. But so second quarter we were up 14% from 2024 and up 12% in 2023. So I was quite happy with that. Next slide, please.
Oh,
Next.
yep,
Oh, sorry.
working on it. There it goes.
Okay.
It probably will skip again because I pushed the button a bunch of times.
Well, I apologize for some of this that it is really not very clear. But we did have 1,300. Oops, sorry, I did age myself, so there you go. We were up 44% for our age views on Facebook, 17% on our interactions, and we added 115 net followers, which is 539% increase from the previous quarter, which means this quarter will probably look really bad, but that's the way statistics work. Probably one of our more popular photos and posts was a school picture from Belfair. And I put a caption about how the kids look so happy and the teacher looks so nice, and someone responded saying, oh, it's nice. So, appearances are deceptive. Next slide, please. So on our Google page, well, we don't have a Google page, but they look at our website. We have 1,300 active users on our website. Our most popular pages were, to visit the museum, our membership in our store, and then the most popular product was our antlers, the Search for the Antlers Hotel with TBT, which it continues to be fascinating to people. I have the next slide, please. So we have been, we were busy. We had a walking tour led by my friends. It was followed immediately by a tour of the Colonial House led by Pat Keats. We had over 60 people show up for that. We also were out Matlock Days. And I just want to comment too that the Historical Society has given holiday county, and the reason for that was we're just out I'm trying to get insurance. And people that drive them around for their cars and stuff or trucks, over the liability. So the county can take care of that. We also participated in Art Walk. We had 3 artists. Next slide, please. This is one of my favorite photos of our collection. I just love this. So these kids are the Summers kids from Great View. Our next exhibit will be about the Mason County's wine heritage. And Mason County had the first wine in the state of Washington. 1930. They've been making juice for a long time, and who knows what else during Prohibition, but it's Prohibition was over. They got the bond for the wine. So it's my presentation.
Any questions? Thank you very much. All right. Our next presentation is the June financial status report. Insert.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Mayor, Council. While Mark's bringing the June report up, I thought I'd give you a little update on our investment accounts, and our local government investment pool account is currently at 18.8 million. In July, I invested 500,000 into LVIP, and it's currently earning a 4.39%, and year to date, it's currently at 4.4. The U.S. Bank investment account, we have currently 6.5 million. And in September, we are going to have 2 bond investments come to maturity, which is a good thing because they're at a very low yield rate. I have one, for 400,000 coming due, which is at, 0.52%. And the second one is another 400,000, at 0.40%. So pretty low. Those were purchased back in 2020 when bond rates were really low, as well as, the LGMP investment interest. So, when those mature, I will either reinvest those into the bonds, or I will move into LGIP, where it's earning that 4.39 interest. But again, the feds are expected to lower the rates, so it'll be watch and see. So, okay. So on to our June financial report. So this is representing half of the year, 6 months of the year, which gives us better data to go on and gives us better assumptions, and is still working at a conservative approach for these numbers. So as you can see, the variance is a favorable variance of almost 8,000, which, if you remember, for the 2025 budget, we had budgeted 1.1 million more than what we were expecting revenues to come in. So this positive variance just drops that estimated actual down to 252,000. So it is better, but again, we are coming on the summer months, so we're still being conservative with these numbers.
I think there's some of that because of the unfilled positions that we have in the city.
Some of it, but it's a lot is coming with, again, but we're at 6 months, so we have better numbers coming in that we can, review from what was it last year compared to this year, what are the months doing? So, and I'll go into that a little bit more in the revenue part. So on to page 2. So we have the revenue, the general fund revenues. So the property taxes we're keeping at what it was budgeted at. Sales tax is getting a little better. It's still coming in a little under, but it's getting better than it has in the previous months. So, but it's still staying a conservative approach with that one. The city utility taxes are coming in strong. And the business and occupation taxes, I did increase that one about $50,000 of what we were anticipating and getting originally. Again, all of these revenue numbers, we did adjust them because we have actual numbers for 6 months to go. It's easier to do it as we get more into the year than it is that we are in the beginning. So. And on page 3, we have our general fund overview of the expenditures. They're falling in line, they're falling under budget currently, which is helping with that estimated actual, bringing that down as well as increased revenues. And then, so page 4 and 5, the year to date for general fund and the month to month general fund, just see how we've progressed from last month and then last year for at least 23 and 24, 25 years. On page 6, we have our sales tax breakdown for revenue, and these numbers come from the Department of Revenue for the 2025 through June, and then June 2025. So the numbers aren't, they're staying in line with each other. So there's no concern with this. Page 7 is our citywide fund balances. This just tells you where each fund is expected to be through 2025. And then at the bottom of the page is where we have our vacancies for all of our FTEs. And currently we have 4.5 in the general fund. And 4 in the utility funds. So if the 2 are that we increased from last month are the 2 elements that are current. And if I could take this time to say thank you to the finance staff for staying in it. It's been tough, but we stayed strong. And I really appreciate the work that they have done, and the work that they do is outstanding. And again, they're the ones that are doing these reports, so I agree to and tomorrow, so we can make decisions going forward with budget. So
You as well. You picked up a lot of responsibility after Mike moved on, so thank you also.
Great job.
Then at page 8, 9 through 12, there's just all the citywide overview of revenue and expenditures. And just keep in mind that even though this is June, we're at the end of almost at the end of August, because don't rush the summer. But because of construction costs and all of our projects that we're doing, they'll be reflected in those coming months to bring to you in these. So, but we'll still be coming in strong for under the expenditure. So with that, is there any other questions?
Any questions? I did notice the permit fees and sales taxes or some of that's coming up because of the development, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. It's the construction season, it tends to ramp up after the first of the year. As you know, it's sales tax is always on a 2-month lag as well. So we'll receive that after the fact. So December sales tax from 2024 is received in February 25 this year. So it's always a lag, and it always increases during the construction season. Hope to see more of it as we get future investments, particularly in some of the subdivisions that they're moving dirt and going through the land use processes now.
Sounds great. Well, it's looking a little bit better than it did last year. So hopefully things continue on at this pace, and maybe we, a little further down the road, then we got to worry about 28, maybe instead of 27. So, but
As you know, we're budgeting conservatively, on the expenditure side as well as the revenue side, and that's purposeful. That's purposeful, so we don't have to go back and make negative corrections. I'll make some positive corrections and affect some one-time purchases, one-time costs in the future. So partly due to the due diligence of our staff too, our departments are minding their budget. They're keeping an eye on it on a regular basis. We're getting great information from the finance team, so we maintain our budgets appropriately. If we don't have the information, if you will, it's almost a shot in the dark, right? Because it's ever changing. So I really appreciate our departments and all of our staff maintaining their budgets and keeping it that.
thank you, Terry and Mark. Now we have one more presentation from Judge Greer, municipal court.
Wherever you're comfortable, Judge. Behind it, up there.
Not easy to say.
Great. Defense or it's prosecution over here?
This is the next level.
Okay.
Used to be prosecutors on that. So first of all, I want to thank Mayor Nesca, Chairman, City Council, for putting out the court's once-a-year report. And for those after me, I'll try not to take too long. I do have some comments along the way. First of all, you are in a courtroom, and this is the court area of the building. And just want to point out, this is the staff that we have. And part I'd like to point out is the staff court is very loyal. And you can tell how long most of them have been here. And that is a plus. As training somebody, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. And so the fact that we don't lose employees to the court, I see is a very positive thing for the court. And I have a few notes that I made along the way, so I'll try to be expedient for you. The court staff, like all other city employees, take their jobs very seriously. Great job. Whether it's patching a road or fixing a pipe or here in the courtroom. For us, public safety is number one. And reducing recidivism, there's no repeat criminal behavior is part of our goal as well. We see ourselves as public service. The people walk through this door as they come in or appear by this video screen from the Squally Jail or Mason County Jail. Most of them have little to no criminal history. I know I hear a lot of comments at public meetings, and I say nothing because I'm a different branch government. I just listen. And so I do come to these meetings, I do listen, I want to know public things, I want to know what you think representing the public. It's very important for court to know what you think, what you want, what you need. And we do absorb that information silently, so I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I want you to know that most people that come through that door, to my right, are first-time offenders or maybe second-time offenders. We have a few that come by every single weekend. We know who they are. But most are not in that category. They're all presumed innocent by the court. They're all treated with respect. Some of them are terrified when they come to court, whether they're on that video screen crying or whether in the courtroom shaking. And how we treat them when they come in reflects on the whole city. It could be the only contact we ever have to see. That traffic ticket, that Walmart, driving with suspended license. How they're treated and how that case works out, good or bad, as long as it's done with respect, reflects on the whole city. Most people never come to the city building, except maybe to pay for utilities, or come to a county building. Unless you get a marriage license or they got a court case. Otherwise, they never come. The majority of people never walk in here. And that's actually a good thing. So when they do, it's very, very important from our perspective that it's a positive experience, even if they go to jail. As long as it's respectful, that's what matters. Everybody has a different outcome, and some have agreements with the prosecutor, some do community service work, some go to jail. It just depends on many factors. Court has a mission statement. I hate presentations where somebody just reads to you what's on the screen. So there it is. And bottom line is we follow the law. And ultimately, my boss is the State Supreme Court of Washington. That's who I ultimately am responsible to. I'd like to touch on the lower paragraph. 87.5% of all the criminal cases in the state of Washington are done by the district court and the city courts of Washington. The remainder in Superior Court. Criminal cases. Superior Court has other things, though we don't do. Probate, estates, civil lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. But the majority of people who commit offenses are in lower courts of the state of Washington. This is one of them. People like numbers. So I asked Diane, my administrator, maybe color your chart. So in 2024, we had 4,020 hearings in this room. 639 citations, 92 violations. Those are controlled by law enforcement. Chief's behind me is officers write those. Sometimes the prosecutor will file some. Those are much more rare. My note that I made is filings have increased in 2025. Our Wednesday calendars have grown about 20% this year over last year. Haven't got those numbers yet. But the average calendar in the morning is just shy of 100 cases. It's be around 65, 70. So there's an increase in filings. The court process, this is kind of a list of what we do. Gross misdemeanors, just want to give examples like DV assaults, DUIs, thefts. The main theft victims are, well, all our local businesses, but in general, Walmart, Safeway are the two biggest for theft in the city. The misdemeanors are things like somebody driving without a valid license, without ID. Most trespasses, so they trespass upon your business, your front yard. Those are misdemeanors. Misdemeanors punishable with 9 days in jail and $1,000 fine. Gross misdemeanors are 364 days in jail and $5,000 fine. Those are possibles. Traffic infractions are usually speeding, usually connected to a criminal case of some kind. Animal control violations, we have very few. Health code violations, also very, very few. And city code violations are usually, but not always, camping in prohibited locations is the most common citation for law enforcement. Tow hearings, we've had one this year so far. I believe that was a ban used for potentially illegal activity that was parked somewhere where it shouldn't be. We do many other things with customer service, public records requests, also process what comes with law enforcement, enter the data in state computer system. Believe it or not, bankruptcies, collections, and bail have to do with the city court as well. We cannot collect fines to somebody that goes into bankruptcy, so we have to keep track of that. We're in trouble with federal court. We have a collection agency we go to for people who don't pay their fines when we deal with bail issues. I'll skip ahead. This is Shelton Creek. My comment is left-hand picture, you can't see it. The right-hand picture after a work crew of city defendants, and Jerry Tidd is in charge of that crew. You can now see the Shelton Creek. Watercress in particular grows in that creek. Thanks to the people upstairs in the administration, we get it's like a 5-year permit. We correct it if I'm wrong from Fish and Wildlife. The current one expires in 2028. In between July 15th and September 15th, they can go into the creek and clean it out. That has great benefits to the fish and wildlife, also helps reduce flooding. When we have the rainy periods, especially when we get towards the mill, it'll flood a lot, and so cleaning it out helps reduce flooding. Our next picture is this before and after. The top one is a homeless camp. I would note that Public Works is great assistance to the cleanup crews. That garbage has been hauled away. We have a trailer that attaches to the van and only takes so much. Code enforcement's also heavily involved. Person in the foreground, the picture on the right, I believe is my employee. I keep telling her she's a supervisor and she works harder than some of the defendants. That's what she likes to do, lead by example. The lower picture, to be honest, I can't remember what intersection it is. It's near one of the roundabouts, looking at it correctly, but couldn't really see the sidewalk. It was very slippery, very dangerous, overgrown, and it's one of the things the crew cleaned up. Yeah, I did write down, it's okay, for the last slide, 698 hours community service work was done. That replaced 87 days in jail that we're not paying for. At rates from the Squally, that's $12,421. We spent jail with cost of us. And that money that was not paid, but also gave back to the community by cleaning up garbage. It was treatment court. I jotted down a note. There were one of the presentations today that came from Youth Connection. Because I dealt with them today, they just don't know it, sitting here, but in our treatment court, we have 2 pregnant women. Youth Connections that tomorrow afternoon is picking one up from the jail and giving her housing and helping her get to her treatments and move forward in her life. She was living in a car next door to Mason County District Court. I guess if you're gonna live in a car, live next to a building with a camera. But she was using fentanyl, methamphetamine, and now she's pregnant. That's a very dangerous combination, using drugs. Fortunately, by happenstance, I put her in jail. She was in treatment court, she tested positive, it's a violation, jailed in medical, early stage infected state. Some damage needed that done. But now she's clean and sober. She's been through some treatment, back to the jail. She is homeless. See her home tomorrow afternoon. And so we greatly appreciate their services in that matter. Another pregnant woman is already gave birth, and she is also in a medical type shelter in Pierce County. So regards to our treatment court, we started in 2022. And in 2024, like I say, our court got an award, I got an award, but it's a team, so we got an award. For innovation, justice, and work in the state court system. The city should be proud of their treatment court. I know we are. We are one of a kind in the state. Because I was told we couldn't do it, so therefore we had to. Yeah, maybe that's a personality problem, but most courts are drug courts, mental health court, professional court, or family courts. So yeah, the AG's office. And it's not really their fault, they're divided up that way. It has to do with federal funding. That choice has been taken from them. You get a pile of money from the county and federal government mixed, but the government says you only use it for this, you only use it for this, and their hands are tied. So our funds for treatment court come 100% from the state court system. No strings. We just have to follow the professional guidelines for treatment courts. So we took the professional guidelines in the substance use disorder court, the guidelines for mental health court, which is now probably called behavioral health court. There are no guidelines for community court, by the way, and we combined all of them together. We then, instead of treating everybody as just drug addict or just mentally ill, which ignores reality, usually both. We have a partner named Consejo, which is just a few blocks away. They're bilingual services, which is very important. And everybody gets an evaluation with the health department, psychiatric RNP, and a substance use disorder professional. And then we interview them, risk management tools, and figure out what they need: housing, food, driver's license, and insurance. Surprise, when people probably not have insurance or licenses. And so we ask them what they need. We then offer them services that fits their issue. The goal is, we don't want to come back to the court and commit another crime. We don't want some of these people in this program that we have another domestic violence incident. We don't want them driving through the neighbor's fence and then crashing into something. These are actual cases. We don't want them running from law enforcement by a Bob's Tavern and vomiting all over city property and walkway. We're trying to have that behavior not repeat itself. It is done well. We operate in 5 languages, usually 3, but up to 5. 15 participants at a time, and reduce crime rate, right? That's the goal. So in the United States as a whole, treatment courts, particularly drug courts, so we want to find stats on reduce new crimes by their members by 12 to 32%. That's not that great. At best, some drug courts are 50 to 8% reduction in crime. That's a huge gap. That's the numbers they have out there. The Charlottesville court, I think it's because we combine everything. We have a 90, I just did the numbers today, a 95% success rate in regards to recidivism. That is really high. Now, we only have 2 years of measurements post-graduation, and also academic and criminal justice, so 3 years is the gold standard, so we have 12 months to go through. I personally think 5 years is a better standard, but we'll keep the statistics and see how it goes. Our graduation rate nationally for treatment courses is 57%, our graduation rate is 80%. 20% either back out of the program, it's just they're not ready, we won't do it. We did lose one person to an overdose death, and was terminated by the court. for not being cooperative. Basically, not willing to be here. Next, I have pictures of a couple of our graduates. And I purposely had myself cut out the pictures, because I didn't want to be there. But all the graduates get 2 graduation certificates, one in English, one in Spanish. If you're an English speaker, you frame the English one and give you a copy of the Spanish one for your friends. If you speak another language, give the frame Spanish one in English for your friends. Gotta have some humor when they graduate. Now, some facts about jail facilities. The court has no control over where law enforcement puts them in jail. But we do take notice of their costs. Base County Jail is $23 a day. I've heard numbers thrown around, so with that, I put it in writing for everybody. Squally Jail is $143, $33, and Forks $65.76. The court is aware that costs are important. We have to look at people's criminal history, public safety, what crime is before the court. What would happen if we release them? And it's a calculation done in about 15 seconds if you see somebody. Or before I came here in 2019, I did work from multiple courts as a substitute judge, worked here in Barrington, Cape Harbor, Thurston County, City of Olympia, Kitsap County, here is in a district court. They all have their practices, and it's good to know what they do. So I'll be blunt, and Judge Steele's gonna listen to this later, so that's just the way it is. But if Mason County District Court is gonna hold somebody at $10,000 bail, why should hold them here at all? Between both courts, I can protect the public and they can work. That's how it works. They put our hearings inside their hearings, so we resolve our case before they resolve theirs. And then the county picks up the bill, which is it's fair game. Cities do it all the time. The county gets their hearings first, might look at us and decide, let somebody go, well, we will hold them, then we're hold that bill. But we hear your hearings for I checked our docket. And so it's not really a game, it's a calculation. Number one is public safety, always is. But if I can make the county pay the jail bill, you don't pay the jail bill, why not? So we do that. Just, you know. The tribal monitoring coming as EHM, we do not do that right now because we had a budget for that was really, really small. And put it on one person who went to Tacoma and cut it off, you haven't paid the costs. Wipe out our budget. That really burned us. So learn from your mistakes. So there is money coming up. AOC, state court system, for small rural courts only. Application deadline is 9/26. I started the application already. They've advertised, Mr. Siegel earlier today, they've advertised multiple times for court supplies. That tells me not very many are applying. So I'm remaining hopeful that we can get some of this money, and this will be an alternative to jail. It's post conviction only. And it also be combined with community service. One of the benefits is if somebody has a job, you don't want them to lose that job. You also want to hold them accountable, right? And so this is a tool where you can do both at the same time. The court does consider these factors. If somebody's on Social Security or SNAP or something like that, they're in jail more than 30 days, they lose those benefits and have to reapply. Translation, more likely to steal from the store because they lost everything instead of almost everything. You know, so those things are considered. The next section, I want to add that the court relies a lot on code enforcement and public works every day for our community service program. So I want to thank them here today for that. The court does everything they can legally to try to help out the rest of the city as well. Our hands are tied on many things, but there's some things we try to do help out. So my administrator is very adept at the Office of Public Defense grant applications. Because in the past, the court used to take care of those pets. Legally can't do that anymore, but she knows how to apply for the grant. And so she does do that. This particular helps, emails go back and forth. And the gentleman next to me is trying, how much my funding gets and how much Prosper gets, not me. But we do everything we can to fill all the forms and all the paperwork, and send it in to Office of Public Defense, see if they'll give us some money to reimburse public defense work. My administrator also reviews all the jail medical invoices from 3 different jails, make sure they're correct. We find thousands of dollars in the state, usually in our favor, occasionally in the county's favor, but they fall where they may, it's usually in our favor, so they don't get overcharged. Fingerprinting is actually a law enforcement job. The way the law is written is the court may do fingerprints and the defendant may refuse our request. Jail police shall fingerprint and the defendant may not refuse. Now, for sometimes it's happened for reasons law enforcement knows, but. So behind you against that wall is a fingerprinting station. Jerry Tip, he serves fingerprints anyway, it's not important to jail. Operations do usually 100%. That is very important because the state patrol needs data fingerprints that people are arrested. They keep track of that for the city. You know, goes into a database, so if someone shows up somewhere else, they know who you are, they identify them, what they've done, where many people can use multiple names. So it's helpful to have fingerprints and photos. The next slide just shows us what part of the budget we are for you. According to the budget wisdom, and in summary, and I was very loath to bring this up, but I am. Just Steele and I talked about this a lot. And Mary knows what I'm talking about. About every 2-3 years, the idea of the city court going away, being run by the county goes up. City councils change every couple of years in their demographics, and so I'm not really gonna harp on it, just wanna bring it to your attention. I know, City Court of Olympia is gone in February next year. I also know that they have about 3 lawsuits coming down the pipe for that. And that's what they did. I can let you know, I do a slight survey with the city on some numbers regarding our budget. They show us being negative every year since we started our treatment part. And we're overspending about it, we're actually not. Last state budget cycle, we got $180,000 for treatment. We spend it. We get reimbursed, it goes back to city general fund, which is totally fine. But it makes our numbers look really weird. Or it looks like it's going into negative. We just got, and they're steep cycles, so it's different. End of June, starting July 1st. So it doesn't match the city cycle. We got $185,000 starting July 1. Again, that money's gonna go out. Comes back, but back into city general fund. So it looks like we're spending more and more than we have. Actually, it's state money we're spending, not all city. As a municipal court, I come to most of your meetings because I think it's important to know on the city. I have family in the city, so ask the city is very important to me. If things would go to a county, just in general, you lose control. That still informs me my payment double, you can both. Costs would go up. Just Steele did a lot of work on this. Yes, it needs to $1,000 a year. City court, so that's $3,000 more. And don't know what else I might want. It's still paid for prosecutor, paid for best attorney. I just can't pay that. You also lose the fact we're right here. Law enforcement wants to search warrant, they're right there. And just walk over, go. Available 24/7 by phone. That will change. So a different person might be answering the phone. So, not in a negative manner, but I just want that's very important. Mention that the budget talks are coming up. We'll do our part. Any way we can to help the budget. We just ask that you keep us in existence. I think you got a good deal. If we went to the county, just wants me to report with you on. We service with that. There's something called the 14th Amendment. It's not allow different treatment of different people. Can't have a county court, some people get treatment court, some people don't. Some people get community service. So those programs have both been gone. The treatment court money pays $1,500 a month. For 2 prosecutors bill. That gone. So obviously, I think that would be very negative. On a positive note, the city council has been very supportive of the court ever since I've been here. It's really appreciated. The system that is currently recording us right now, the cameras, sound system, I look at the mirrors, he's been here a long time, was because of you. You took a chance on the court, gave you $8,000. Maybe you're a fool, so you're smart, not sure what it was, but it worked out. And it worked out for law enforcement, you can say jail they want, you can't buy someone. They don't have to bring people back personally. It records all your meetings, records all record. Yeah, so I think it's a really good partnership. I want to continue that partnership. I think all of you enjoy listening to me. I will buy again next year. Any questions?
Questions? Can you touch just for a brief second on the Bar Association recommendation and the Supreme Court adoption of that? On how that's gonna affect, I know it's a 10-year deal, but immediately, how's that gonna affect it immediately?
Well, my educated guess is that your public defenders will want to use one more attorney. Might have guessed a mark or two. Might have guessed a better net of talk about it or not.
Meeting, speak up, yeah.
It's a battle, so I'll tell you. The county. Just the other night, because I work on call for county as presiding pro tem judge. Okay. Justine and I are looking at, so secret my, of course, it needs to knows this, articles in the paper. The lack of public defenders in the county. We were looking at dismissing cases. They'll never be heard. We're talking DUIs, domestic violence, trespass, you name it. There's going to be a slew of cases that are dismissed because there's no public defender as required by the Constitution representative, which is horrific. There's Dorsey, the prosecutor, to decide what to prosecute, right? That's the tough. He's like official. He's got to figure it out now, and this is a tough choice. But we're looking at dismissals. The one that happens in the city. The comments in the county court is if you hit a crime in the city, you get prosecuted, crime in the county, you might get prosecuted. And I'd rather be in the jurisdiction when people get prosecuted, but you have to have both ends, prosecution and defense, or it doesn't happen. And so I am very worried about the expense for defense. It's going to escalate over the next 10 years. There's a glimmer of hope in that the appellate court did rule. Social Washington City's might be able to find it. That effectively is an unfunded mandate. That the state Supreme Court is telling counties and cities to suck it up and pay more money for public defenders, but not operating out in that endeavor. There's also a dispute that in most states, like Montana, Idaho, for example, legislature decides on a caseload. They run public defense. It does beg a question, why is the court system doing public defense? I'm told I can't. The Supreme Court above me says they will. There's a contradiction of law. And so those are now brewing because counties and cities, like, where are you supposed to find this money? There's a shortage of lawyers. Lawyers that do exist do not do public service. It's just not something they want to do. And so you have to compete in the open market for these services. And it's not good. That's the understanding, it's just not looking good.
Yeah, that's the nail on the head, Judge. We're now narrowing the market with a higher threshold, lower threshold, I guess, if you're going through this case. cases are based on a point system. The higher level case felonies are higher points and you, that's turning achieved, if you will, certain amount of points. I think we're in a decent position right now. We have a public defender that has an established firm in Sheldon, Mesa County. Built this for some time, and he's built a team, but as these standards continue to progress and those points start decreasing, it's gonna ratchet down on small courts, small jurisdictions like the city of Sheldon. So AWC has it on the radar. I attended a webinar this week, have a preliminary legislative discussion, and certainly one of the priorities of AWC to legislate in finding solutions for issues in Washington.
And I've met with our representatives a few year down in that. Yeah, though they tried to float it the last time and it failed, but for instance, teachers and doctors sometimes get some of their student debt paid for by the state, those sort of rural areas of need. And when our representatives try to get that moving for public events, right? From the rural area of need, that's supposed to be in Seattle, Tacoma, my public year. Debt. In a operating, right? And that failed for anywhere, but the pressure's building.
Got some comments for the judge. First of all, I want to thank you for the innovation you've shown for the treatment court. And thank you for inviting me to the graduations. And I'm just really proud of the rate that people graduate and the rate that people stay out of jail. So thank you so much for that. Also, I want to thank you again for not just the cost savings, but the labor savings of your fingerprinting and your jail bookings and all the things that you do for the city that are off the books. And just your concern for the public safety and making sure that the order is correct and people are where they're supposed to be and how you're running things is just exemplary. And I really support the court being here in the city and especially their treatment court that is innovative, award-winning, and something that we should be following in the future. So just kudos to all your hard work, and it's being seen and it's being recognized. And I hope that the city and the council takes that into consideration when we do go into budget negotiations in the future. But you have a big supporter of the court, what you're doing, and your staff here on the council. So I just want to let you know that.
It's appreciated. This for you and the public. My children actually live here. In the city limits. So that matters to me, what happens in the city a lot. It's a great motivator, not just a professional and personally.
Any other comments for the judge? I appreciate the support, Judge, and your work, and I think I started that conversation, and it's a legitimate conversation in a budget crunch, but you know, if it's gonna cost more, obviously, that is.
I know it's probably very low down, that's what you're here.
You know, but no, you know, it's a legitimate conversation, and obviously it's not cost effective, and but nothing to do with the court. The court has done a wonderful job, and your staff's done a job. The work crews do a wonderful job. I see them out there on the roads, climbing down, you know, 40-foot in ditches and grabbing garbage. So it was, you know, just a conversation, and you know.
That's understood. I'd like to point out that there's been several online claims, any defendants doing work. The only claim we had was some employee who was shot at, by our RP gun. And the individual that did that was convicted of felony assault. Thank you, Mr. Dorsey, for that. So the injury could never happen.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. You guys do a wonderful job. Thank you. All right. Anybody a break or two?
Yeah, I could take a
Five, just five?
Yep.
5 minute recess. Thanks.
Drink. Use.
Yeah.
Progress.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. No, you people. We were supposed to go down, and bring it back. Literally. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, are we ready? Don, are we ready?
Ready.
All right, about that. Our first business item is a contract award for secure funding fencing project. Assistant Public Works Director Aaron Nix has it ready for us. Good evening, Aaron.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Council. This is related to an action item that we're going to talk about here shortly. I want to let you know, this is the project that I've been talking on, for months with regard to a secure fencing project over here for our police folks, as well as, some security software. Like, we went out to bid, on August 5th. And if you notice on the last page, there's the bid tabulation. The cost estimate for the project was approximately $491,000. Our low bid that we got for this project was $393,159. So almost $100,000 savings. I will tell you, I did a budget check today. We have adequate resources with the grant. And with the additional money that you guys budgeted in 2025, not only pay for this, pay for the software, the hardware, and the design work. So we are flush. We are just looking for the council to approve that at the next go to move forward with that project. I will tell you, in preparation for that, we've done extensive outreach within the community. We sent out letters to all the community that lives over there. We're also going to have message boards out probably tomorrow, maybe the next day, basically letting know that we're in for construction. And that it will no longer be open to anyone. Closed road, if you remember, it's identified at least in the agenda bill or the staff report, that was vacated a year or so ago, a little bit longer, probably more like 2.5 years or so. So that road is no longer a road. And looking hopefully to move forward with this here at your next meeting. And the questions that you have.
Thank you, Aaron. Donna, have you ever read resolution number 1393-0725?
Resolution number 1393-0725. A resolution of the city of Dothan, Washington, awarding the secure fencing project to Diversified Holdings Northwest LLC and authorizing the city manager to execute contract documents.
Thank you, Donna. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to forward resolution number 1393-0725 to the action agenda at the September 2nd, 2025 council meeting for further consideration.
Second.
All right. We have actually comments or questions.
It's been a long time coming. Thank you for incorporating everything that we've asked for to increase security in the whole building. So thank you so much for working this out and making it available, and thank all of us for putting it in the budget and for moving this forward.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. It's a long time coming, as Councilman Bird Gutierrez says. In recap, this is really for the safety of our officers, so they can come in and go without having to worry about somebody, standing around a corner and,
Absolutely.
Lock it and put something.
Mr. Mayor, to clarify, it'll also incorporate the eastern entrance exit for court staff as well as most comm staff as they're here. As they are closely associated with the police department and our public safety, public safety services, so certainly a benefit for those individuals as well.
Any other questions? Right. We have a motion, thank you, Aaron. We have a motion and a second to forward resolution number 1393-0725 to the action agenda September 2nd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Oh, Aaron's still up. We have another item from Aaron.
Yes, sir. Maintenance related project, this has also been a long time coming, so we have what's identified as the UPS, it's called an uninterrupted power supply. And in essence, you'll see that on a smaller scale with computers, they will actually, basically, it's a battery backup in essence. And it will carry you through until you can get reliable power. We actually had an incident here, 2 months ago where we lost power. It was not necessarily, it wasn't created by PUD, it was an internal issue within our building that we needed to address. At that time, the power went out, the UPS did not do what it was supposed to do. The batteries are candidly dead, they won't work. Problem with that is that if you don't transition power, there's some very sensitive equipment, specifically, I believe 911 got impacted by one of their servers. Because of that, there was that good transition of power, and it basically blew that out. That's why you have these things. In essence, we have an 18 generator. It did kick off during that event, but what we noticed was it was under the get-go, and it took about 30 seconds to hear it grinding, just trying to make up for the power that it needed. So this is an important project, but I will tell you, council, it's expensive. I mean, just the bottom line, it is an expensive project. So in essence, we had budgeted, and I'm trying to remember, I believe it was $80,000 for this project. We did have to utilize our architectural firm to help us with the design of that. So we spent about $15,000 on that. That leaves us with about $65,000 to construct the project. The bid came in at about, excuse me, it wasn't a bid. We were very fortunate in this case in that the vendor, Presidio, is actually on the state roster. So that means we get the best prices for these types of systems. It came in at about $113,000. So there's a gap that we need to cover here. In talking with the city manager and other staff, what we'd like to do is we'd like to proceed with this project with a caveat that we will be doing a supplemental budget to cover the rest of the expense with this. But this is, when you're talking about emergency management, those kinds of things, this is one of those crucial things that you have to have. Because, well, for now, we have 911, but we also have a police department. Another interesting thing is, I believe, the control device for SCADA is here too. So if that interrupts, all of our water systems, sewer systems can go defunct. So this really is an important project. So please, council, consider that. But that is our desire, is to move forward with this and actually go and get this done. It's basically broken into 2 parts. You'll see in your paperwork, obviously you have the resolution. But it is a purchase services contract, which in essence we're purchasing services. The PO that you'll see attached to it is the actual components to the system that we'll purchase. So with that, happy to answer questions. Again, we do have a little bit of a shortfall here that we were hoping to cover, I believe, in the supplemental budget.
If necessary, yeah, at this point, we'll fund it through the facilities budget. There's capacity within the facilities budget now. Most likely a supplemental budget will be coming back to the council before the end of the year. If we need to supplement that facilities budget to do this overrun, that's what the council considered.
Thank you. Don, I'm reading resolution number 1396-0725.
Resolution number 1396-0725. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a purchase services agreement number 25-015-CSA and purchase order number 25-038 for for services and materials and replacing the existing uninterrupted power supply at the Civic Center.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1396-0725 on the action agenda for the council meeting on September 2nd, 2025 for further consideration.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
First of all, this is more than just a public safety issue. It's also an environmental issue. And it's also a pre-emergency issue because we can't even activate 911 if it's not going on. So this is beyond important that we get this done and have an emergency for an emergency. So I fully support this project and I fully support finding a way to get it paid for. And this is a service that we cannot go without. So this is something that I will be voting for and will be moving forward and getting it as soon as possible. So that's my comment.
Just replacing the big old fan size generator back there?
No, sir. This is actually the UPS in this building is located, you know where the janitors sit? Are you familiar with where they sit? So it's
Oh, yes.
permit center and then you go through the
Yeah.
hallway to go to finance. They're kind of off to the left there. It sits back in there. One of the other issues that we have is a very complicated system. All I can tell you is that we're taking power and we're transferring it down to get lower juice, then we're ramping it back up 2 or 3 times in that room, so it gets really hot. You're gonna see a budget next year for us to put in one of those portable units because it gets that hot in there. We use a fan, but it's just not sufficient. So that really is a critical area. It was kind of a good thing, candidly, that we did have a power outage. Is it Mark and I really figure out where the main switches were and kind of go through that. We're gonna be doing some additional work, you guys. A lot of our panels are not identified correctly. We want to get that. You need to be able to turn off circuits if we need to. So that's something we're gonna cover in operations budget, but there are some things that we're continuing to look into. Again, it's upstairs. You'll see a big cabinet about that tall. That's the battery pack. The new one is gonna be significantly smaller. They're using new battery technology, not the acid. The standard battery, they're using more of the.
That might be a NICAD system.
So it's working with the generator we still have.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's the idea with the UPS, you guys, is if the power goes out, that thing takes the power and continues to keep it in action. The battery life, the batteries will last about 15 minutes. That's more than sufficient time because we have a transfer switch. As soon as the power goes out, it's supplying that. It can do it up to 15 minutes, but within a minute, our generator fires off.
Okay.
So it's that transition piece that helps us keep everything functioning as well as not killing servers, which is a big deal.
Anything else? All right. We have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1396-0725 on the action agenda for the council meeting September 2nd. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron. All right, up next, an ordinance updating sections of municipal code. City Manager Mark Ziegler has more information.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. Tonight, draft ordinance 2031-0725 has some recommended amendments and deletions within the Shelton Municipal Code. As we move through daily work here at the city of Shelton and review our codes, there's always some updates to address. First and foremost, I'll reference 2.18, which is titled City Manager. Within the City Manager code section, there's several chapters about scope and authority, duties and powers, salary, resignation, and removal from office. One thing that wasn't necessarily identified was signing authority. So signing authority has been done through policy with resolution in the past. And as council knows, we've talked about the limits of signing authority for the city manager and the thresholds to purchasing and procurement and how that's led to some unnecessary redundancies, some inefficiencies. And so as we've talked through the ability to increase the city manager's signing authority to help alleviate some of those. So chapter 2.18 would add a section for city manager signing authority Currently, the signing authority established by resolution is $30,000. We have the matrix attached to this that would outline how the signing authority is delegated throughout the city, but also how if a item is budgeted within and called out within the within the city's annual budget, then it would designate signing authority for the management of flow of purchases. There are things like vehicles that are over 30,000, sometimes over $50,000, depending on the piece of equipment. We would add those to go to the consent agenda through briefings as the council sees fit. We certainly can bring those back in the council meeting for transparency and public information of the council. Again, so sees fit. If it's an important piece of equipment, say a patch truck or a Vector truck or crack sealer or something like that, we're making an investment for our infrastructure improvements. We certainly can bring it back, present that to the community so they understand the investments that we're making. So again, 2.18 would add delegated signing authority to award, execute, close out contracts in amounts less than $50,000. This would also rescind resolution 1170-0820, which I'll talk about kind of next. And then in chapter 2.06, this is really a chapter that is obsolete now about city departments. It's fairly redundant because it talks about the various city departments establishing those, but we have a chapter within Title II that identifies each city department anyway. So it's really redundant. It's from, let's see, 1998. It was updated in 2018, but the only update was we went from commission to council form of government. And so you'll see throughout the municipal code, ordinance 1921-05 and 18 from 2018 was just changing the language within the code from commission to council at the time of that the form of government change. And then finally, chapter 2.60010 authorizes the city manager to determine the office hours of city offices as appropriately determined available resources. Right now, that is within the council's authority by RCW. You can delegate that authority. But the office hours right now are Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM within our code. It's obviously not accurate. We're operating Monday through Friday, 8:30 AM to 4:30 PM. We have had to make those organizational and operational changes due to available resources, staffing, and budget. So those changes have been made over time without necessarily updating our municipal code. So I think it's an appropriate time to bring this to council and seek your approval to determine that the city manager will be authorized to make those changes, obviously with communication to the council.
You push two of those together?
No.
Oh. Okay. I thought we were on.
I was really short on 2.06.
Okay.
And deleting section 2.06 because again, that is a title that's titled city departments, and it's redundant to a number of other titles, including 2.16, which is municipal court, 2.18 city manager, 2.20 city attorney, city clerk, and therefore, and so on throughout the code.
Okay.
Is that what you're referring to?
Well, we were talking about signing authority, and that was second on my list. So I was confused if we did two together.
Okay. No, 2.06 repeal.
Well, I'm talking about ordinance number 20310725. That's what we were talking.
Yep, that's the ordinance number.
Okay.
That amends Shelton Municipal Code, 2.06, which is repealing 2.06.
Okay.
Amending 2.18040, and so that's amending, adding 040 and renumbering that adds the signing authority. And then amending 2.60010, which is the office hours of operation. Sorry.
Okay.
Tried to lump a number of edits into this
I
ordinance.
thought we were moving around here. I'm going, wait a minute, did we skip one? All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place ordinance number.
I'm sorry. Oh, and commit automatic reading of 2031-07.
Maybe she can straighten it out.
All right. Ordinance number 2031-0725. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, repealing chapter 2.06, adding a new section 2.18.040. Reordering sections 2.18.040 through 0.060. And amending section 2.60.010 of the Shelton Municipal Code related to city manager authority.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place ordinance number 2031-0725 on the September 2nd, 2025 action agenda for further consideration.
Comments or questions?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Just a second.
Melissa.
Thank you.
Comments or questions? All right, we have a motion and a second to place ordinance number 2031-0725. September 2nd, 2025, council action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we're on Mark, another resolution from Mark about signing the book.
Correct.
That's what I thought we were talked about.
Yeah. Separate items. So, back in, 2020, the council approved a resolution designating signing authority to the city manager, not to exceed $30,000 first. With the council's approval of the code amendments, just previously considered that would make this resolution obsolete. So, resolution number 139400725 just repeals the resolution from 2020 that designated that $30,000 sign.
All right, Donna, may I read number 1394-0725?
Resolution number 1394-075. A resolution of the council of the city of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the repeal of resolution number 1170-0820, authorizing staff signing authority for contracts.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1394-0725 on the September 2nd, 2025 action agenda for further consideration.
Comments or questions?
So our process, if we wanted to change this again, is to go through the same steps that we just did. If we wanted to go to 75,000 in the future, or,
An ordinance be brought back to the council to amend the city code, absolutely.
okay, so it wouldn't be that difficult if we didn't like that you're doing all these $49,000 things, we can go back and put it down to 30.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly right, and within the matrix that follows the purchasing authority, there's thresholds for change orders, grant applications as well. So change orders would be no more than 10% of the original contract. So correct.
I just wanted to assure the council and everyone watching that this is going to be easy to change if we don't like what the city manager is doing. So there is oversight. So it's okay to give up some of the council's power in this case because we're responsible for you and not the employees' hours. Right? That's how I see it. So that's how I want to go moving forward. And if you do need, if things change and rates continue to go up, we're going to have to revisit this in the future anyway. So I just wanted to make sure the process was clean and easy either way.
This creates efficiency. If we didn't allow this and you had a $49,000 change in a contract, they have to come here to us, a business item and an action item. So, and this creates efficiency for staff, not having to write a paper packet. And it's going to be on our consent agenda as well. So there's nothing ever going to be out of our sight. And we've got Jerry up here making sure that everybody else on the up and up too, right? So, sounds good. Any other comments or questions? All right. We have a motion and a second, like resolution number 1394-0725 on September 2nd, 2025, council action agenda for the consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are recessing out of our regular meeting and opening a public hearing. Jason. I guess I should have said it's an ordinance, but an annotation request. Jason.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. This public hearing follows on to action the council took in February, in adopting a resolution that green lighted, so to speak, property owner of a 2.5 acre piece of property located adjacent to city limits within our UGA to officially apply for annexation. And what that means is They would formally be in new city limits and assume the zoning the city has in its future land use map, which is identical to the counties, which this is a residentially zoned property, it's vacant, I'm sure I said that. This action does require a public hearing, and provided that, you know, nothing unexpected comes up tonight, we are asking that you do make a first reading of the ordinance and put it on your action agenda for the September 2nd meeting. And I leave it at that. Any questions for me? Or we hear from any members of the public?
Was that public testimony? Ma'am, were all your questions answered by Jason earlier?
Oh, same thing. I did speak with a neighbor in the property.
Yep.
Before the meeting, in discussion process and big stuff.
Right, maybe have a reading ordinance number 2030-0625.
Ordinance number 2030-0625. An ordinance of the city council of the city of Shelton, Washington, annexing certain property located within the city of Shelton urban growth area into the city of Shelton corporate limit.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to forward ordinance number 2030-0625 to the council's action agenda for the September 2nd, 2025 meeting for further consideration.
Right, council questions or comments?
I also have one comment. I did forget to mention that I was looking over the ordinance again, there's a minor discrepancy in one of the attachments. That's already corrected in the final version. You'll see on the second is correct. On to question.
All right, we have a motion and a second to forward ordinance number 2030-0625 to the council action in the September 2nd. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. We're back at our regular meeting. On to our action agenda now. First Assistant Public Works Director Aaron Nix has information for the Civic Center rotating art gallery.
This is a great piece here. I did do all the work on this. This was actually Jordan, who's on a well-deserved vacation. As you know, we do the rotating art gallery out here. There was a call to artists that was sent out previously earlier in the year. The deadline for submittals was July 11th. At that time, the Shelton Arts Commission met on July 15th to basically review the art and make recommendations. And hence why we're here in front of you this evening. We'd like to proceed with this and approve the artists that have been identified. If you look through the pictures, it's just beautiful. A lot of them, they're all gorgeous. And I really is a positive thing out here. I really enjoy myself just walking the living room. So what we're asking is if indeed the council will approve this, they will place their art on September 2nd. And that will run through November 28th of this year. So if there's any questions or comments, please.
Donna, anyone have public comment?
No, Mayor.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, move to approve Shelton Arts Commission's recommendations for placement in the Civic Center rotating art gallery.
All right, comments or questions? Thank you, Aaron, for presenting. Yeah, it's great to see people walk by and stop. Everybody walks by at the pay bill to stop and look at all those pictures. So that's great.
I have a very contact day.
All right. Now, we have a motion and a second to approve the Shelton Art Commission's recommendations for placement in the Civic Center rotating art gallery. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, our last item is also Aaron.
I'll shut up then. So this is related to the initial issue that I brought forward to you. We talked about this at the last council meeting. I told you on the initial item that we just talked about that we have adequate budget to cover everything. This is a particular contract with Genetec, which is going to be our security provider as far as the software as well as the hardware. Again, pretty innovative stuff. I'm not going to go into great detail about every security measure that's out there. But there are some really positive things with regard to cameras, access cards, those kinds of things, moving gates, those kinds of things. So what this is basically a contract with Genetec. And the reason why you're seeing this first before the actual project is because of coordination. We basically need to get it constructed and then Genetec's going to come in after it's constructed. Place all of the units as well as the wire, run the wire, and then they're gonna train us on how to use it. So that's what's in front of you here for approximately $59,000. Again, that was calculated in the cost and the budget that we have. We have sufficient budget to move forward with this.
Was there public comment, Donna?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Have a reading, please.
Resolution number 1392-0725. A resolution of the council of the city of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement number 25-013-CSA with Convergent Security for the placement, programming, commissioning, and testing of the Genetec security system, associated equipment in support of the Civic Center Police Security Fencing Project.
Thank you, Donna. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, move to adopt resolution number 1392-0725 as written.
All right, but I think I had it marked, but I think I forgot the answer, so I'll ask you, we have a safe place for people to make transfers to buy a car, they can meet here and be on camera somewhere. We used to have it over here, right? So we're gonna have to move it. Do we have any plans to put one out front here, maybe?
I think we still have the signs, we can certainly add those. We don't have camera coverage necessarily, but with the proximity to the police department and.
So like somebody wants to buy something they see online, they say, hey, well, let me meet you at the Civic Center in this spot number 1, and you'll be on camera. So when I actually bought a car, Lacey, for my son, and we did that in the Lacey Police Department, there were 2 cameras there, and it says, you're being recorded and seen.
Yeah, I sold 4-wheelers and going to Tacoma Mall, trying to make that happen. Yeah, and also understand, we do have an additional, I'm not saying that we're gonna pay for it through this, but we do have an additional $250,000 that Mark got for us to do security improvements to this building and other areas of the city.
But that'd be nice to be under consideration, something like
Sure.
that, so.
Absolutely.
Easy enough. All right, any other comments? We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1392-0725 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Whoa. Hard. Your report tonight.
Just a couple things, I'm rearranging some briefings, for next week because of some, calendar conflicts. I want to make sure I get these scheduled with council because we're starting to refine budget and get into some, a place where we can provide council with some more information and get direction from you prior to, coming back in September in a study session. And it's really a really condensed timeline, and it's really condensed because of some of the staffing changes we've had in the finance department. So I really appreciate Terry and the whole team in finance working through that. Department directors and all their staff, they engage in this. It's a lift when you're doing everything day to day too, getting together your annual budget. So times like this really, really makes me appreciate the time and effort our staff put in. We just finished up the Movies in the Park series. Unfortunately, Friday it rained, moved it inside, but it was a successful series. National Night Out, I'm sorry I wasn't there for that. I know the attendance wasn't great, but it was kind of our first consolidated event. We're hoping to build upon that. I appreciate the council being active in that, all the departments engaging with that too, with our partners, Central Mason Fire. I think that just allows us the opportunity to communicate with our community, educate them on what we're doing, let them know that we're people down here, right? And not locked in the walls here, some robots doing work, real people doing work down here and chugging away and doing a great job. So really proud of these efforts throughout the rest of the summer. Looking forward to working through our budget process, and boy, we're working on 2026 already, folks. So it's right around the corner. So it's kind of scary how fast it's coming up on us, but looking forward to it and ready to move in that direction.
I think we need to give a couple practice days for our police because they got beat by the fire department. Sorry. Okay.
They're out there shooting hoops at midnight. You should see.
Right. Is there any other
I
comments?
just thought it was an engaging night out and it was actually really fun and I was able to save my egg with council member Sapp's two sons. So
Right.
it was really fun and I hope people attend that more and see how much training and expertise that the police have and the fire has and that everyone that all the departments share and all the equipment that the city has and so many things that the city does that makes the quality of life living in Shelton really worth it. So I really hope that the public can help us out and actually go see and check out all the different things, the great things that our staff does for the whole community.
Yeah, I thought it was a great night. Do we still have shirts available to be purchased for the K-9 program?
Yes, we do.
So if anybody would like a shirt, they got a dog on the back, somewhere in the front, I bought like 5 of them, but I haven't worn one yet. So contact the police department. Do we have anybody special there?
Sergeant Downs is.
Sergeant Downs. So, all right. Any new items for discussion? Right, then this study, so we have, our next meeting is Tuesday, the 2nd, 2025, at 6 p.m. Which will be our city clerk's last meeting. And we'll also have study session Tuesday, August 26th at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 7:46 p.m.
Yes, good job. It's a good picture.
I need to find that.
Sorry about that.
I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.